And we have tonight with us Ramali Travis Stent, and she's going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So come on up, and I'll come down with you.
I'm good? Okay. Hi, I'm Ramiley Traffenstedt. I'm a student at Bakersfield College. I'm here doing like a municipal report, but yeah, I figured I'd volunteer. Are we all ready? Salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you indeed. Isn't it just up?
Roll call, please.
Julie Beechner Taus.
Here.
Joe Marcano.
Here.
Mary Little.
Here.
Jose Gonzalez Jr.
Here.
Lori Askew.
Here.
James Robinson.
Here.
Lori Cisneros.
Here.
Annabelle Werner.
Here.
Thank you.
Adoption of the agenda.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any discussion, corrections, any opposed? So ordered. Approval of minutes from the regular board meeting held on September 9th, 2025.
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any discussion? Motion passed, thank you. Item 1.6 is the approval of minutes for the special board meeting held on September 10th, 2025.
Motion.
Second.
Did you have a comment, Lori? You look, okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any discussion? So ordered. And we have a place for public comments tonight, and I think we have 9 people that would like to speak.
Our first speaker will be Reverend Angelo Frazier.
Thank you. Well, thank you to the ultimate lawgiver. Without him, none of this would be possible. And I consider all this the days of challenge. Almost 2 years ago, Charlie Kirk and I spoke about the issue of courage. And that moral courage is to do the right thing no matter the results. Those moments with him have profoundly impacted my life. A little more than a year ago, I came before this board with a request to consider a resolution of the historical significance and relevance of the 10 Commandments, and that they be placed in a common area of the school. So now here we are. I want to thank the board president and the fellow trustees for your courage and consideration in this matter. And may the historical relevance of this resolution be beneficial to this school district and beyond. Thank you and happy birthday, heavenly birthday to Charlie Kirk.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Lori Brashler.
Hello. I'm here to ask you not to mandate or endorse the 10 Commandments or other devotional texts in classrooms. The U.S. Supreme Court has already ruled on this. Posting the 10 Commandments in public school classrooms violates the Establishment Clause because it lacks secular purpose. And that was in Stone versus Graham in 1980. California's Constitution is even stricter. Article 1, Section 4 forbids government preference for any religion. Article 9, Section 8 bans sectarian doctrine in public schools. Our classrooms must remain neutral so that every student, religious, non-religious, Christian, Muslim, Sikh, Jewish, Hindu, feels that they belong. Teaching about religion is allowed in proper context. Promoting religion is not. Please reject any policy to display religious commandments in classrooms and instead affirm our legal commitment to neutrality. It's for the children. We should be here for all of our children with any faith that they have so that they don't think that we're putting one over the other. We want to keep everything fair. Thank you.
Thank you, Lori.
Catalina Maldonado.
Hello, board members. I didn't really get to prepare for this, but I wanted to let you guys know that on October 10th, Governor Gavin Newsom signed AB 727 into law. This law would require, starting July of 2026, that the Trevor Suicide Prevention Hotline be printed on the back of each child's ID card for ages 13 to 24 years old. While I am completely for mental health services, I do not think that the Trevor organization should be in any way tied to our teachers' unions. So as a parent, I was able to infiltrate, look into that site, and see what the contents of that site was. And while I do support neutral learning spaces, this is where I see that there is a lack of neutrality being pushed onto our children. So the Trevor organization has an online forum called Trevor Space. And in Trevor Space, they have clubs where children can join Marxism clubs. There is a club to the Temple of Satan. There are clubs for witchcraft. There are clubs for role playing, such as caregiver clubs and age regression clubs. At first, I didn't understand what this meant, but looking further into it, I realized that caregivers was role playing for people who identified as age regressionists. People, there were opening lines that said, for those who, quote, are seeking a little bit of attention, a safe space for littles. So if they're making safe spaces where they can push sexual, pagan, Satanist, and sexual ideologies and Marxism ideologies onto our children where they can complain about capitalism and fascism, then that is not neutrality. So at this point, we are faced with a decision. Either we are going to allow these lawmakers in California to push these types of ideologies on our children, or we are going to push to rebuild on the foundation of Judeo-Christian values in our schools. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Lindsay Parker.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lindsay Parker, and I am the parent of 2 children in Kern County Public Schools. I grew up here in California, and I attended both private Christian schools and public schools growing up. I know what it's like to learn in a place where faith is part of every lesson. And I know what it's like to sit in a public classroom where kids come from every background and every belief. And both could be good places to learn, but they are different. Faith is personal. It is something we teach and live at home, in our families, and in our churches, mosques, and temples. Not something that the government should choose for our kids. When we put one religion's commandments on a classroom wall, even with good intentions, it sends the wrong message. It tells some kids that they belong more than others, and no child in Kern County should ever feel like an outsider in their own school because of what they believe or don't believe. Our community is full of families with different faiths and traditions, and that's one of our strengths. Schools should be places where all of our kids feel safe, respected, and included. If we want to teach about history, let's teach about freedom of religion, the very right that protects all of us. Let's hang up the Constitution and not the commandments. You have a responsibility to represent every child in your care, from every background and every belief. And deep down, I think we all know this. Our personal faith is a guiding light for our lives, but it should never guide the hand of the government. As elected officials, your duty isn't to one faith. It is to protect the freedom of all families to believe or not believe as they choose. So please keep our classrooms neutral, welcoming, and focused on learning for everyone. That's how we honor both faith and freedom, protecting every child's right to belong. That's what real freedom looks like. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jess Sanders.
I'm here to address the Ten Commandments. This country was set up and founded on the basis of Judeo-Christian values and the Ten Commandments, and I don't remember any other religions setting this country up. So that's a historical fact. They weren't there. If they feel like they were left out, it's not our fault. They weren't there, their families or forefathers weren't there to help set up the country. It is a fact that it was set up by Judeo-Christian leaders. It is the foundation for the best country in the world. It is the reason we have freedom of religion, and they're free under this laws set up by the Ten Commandments, or as the Ten Commandments as a structure. That is what allows everybody to have the freedom of religion. So, for years, the liberals have tried to undermine this because it was set up with facts and laws and common sense. Now, those things are being undermined with pseudoscience. Boys can be girls. You don't have to be a bird to identify as a bird or a girl or anything. It's all being undermined. Truth is being undermined by all these whacked out directions we're going. If we tend to jump down everybody's rabbit hole, nobody's safe. We're going to go right back to what we had before, just chaos and a government that controls us because we don't have a God-given right. Our freedoms are not given by our government. They're given by our God. That's what the Ten Commandments is doing. That is why we were set up that way, and that is why everybody has a right to say what they want to say here without being hauled off by the gulags. Once they do away with our founding fathers' protections they wrote in, they don't even know what's coming, because that gives the government the same thing that North Korea has, China, Russia. We don't have any rights at that point. Thank you.
Thank you.
Paul Linfesti.
Hello, Board. Tonight I thought I would address the fiscal stewardship risk and cost frame that might come across if this carries through. Litigation over Ten Commandments mandate is active right now in other states, and courts keep blocking them as unconstitutional. Most recently, a federal appeals court called a similar mandate plainly unconstitutional. Kern County should be spending its dollars on teachers, counselors, and student supports, not on defending all of these avoidable lawsuits. I know fiscal stewardship seems to be considered old-fashioned. We don't really have to think about those anymore, but actually some of us still believe in that in our society. Attorneys' fees, they are huge these days, and they're very real, and they are foreseeable that they can hurt a district down the line. And so I would recommend that you table or decline any policy that creates known legal exposure, and request the counsels that you have employed here and at the board, at the superintendent's office, a written analysis of litigation risk and potential costs. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
Brian Osorio.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Brian Osorio, and I'm speaking tonight on behalf of Building Healthy Communities Kern. We're a local CBO whose core objective is really fighting for a healthier Kern County for all. And so that's the perspective I'm coming from this evening. I'm here to speak on the agenda item regarding the display of historical documents, which I understand to be a continuation of the discussions about posting the Ten Commandments from earlier this year. From a public health perspective, The primary goal in schools should, and emphasis on should be to create a safe, inclusive, and supportive environment for every single student. And an action that would create the perception that would privilege one religious text over another would single out students of different faiths or even students who don't practice a faith. And it will create an environment where students feel unwelcome or unsafe. These feelings become a threat to a child's mental health and well-being, and it can become a significant barrier to their ability to learn and thrive in school. As VHC, we urge you to consider the health and safety for all students. Our public schools should continue to be a place of unity and equal respect. Schools succeed when every student feels safe and respected. Belonging drives attendance and achievement. Please do not move forward with any policy that would compromise this fundamental principle. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dennis McLean.
Good evening, Superintendent and trustees. I will be brief tonight in my putting the 10 Commandments back in public school systems like when I was a child. This topic should be a no-brainer. In the present culture, we need faith and trust and truth for our children. It should be in all public schools. And for those of you that want the schools to be perfect, it's not that way. I have a grandchild in 8th grade, and you would be appalled at what's going on at middle school and below. There's no punishment, there's no accountability, it's a rat race. So for you dreamers, you can dream all you want, but this is reality. Thank you for letting me talk.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it? Thank you. Now we're going to be entering 3.1, and that is a presentation at the Historical Documents Display. And I will introduce Mariah Gondero, and she serves as litigation counsel at Liberty Counsel in Maitland, Florida, where she assists with a variety of cases under the First Amendment and Title IX, or Title VII, that's it, of the Civil Rights Act, including research and writing. She also assists with client development and legislative advocacy. Prior to joining Liberty Counsel, she gained extensive experience overseeing a wide array of constitutional cases at a nonprofit organization in California, including cases involving religious liberty, free speech, and election integrity. Mariah has argued several successful appeals in California and the Ninth Circuit. She was one of the few attorneys to successfully get past standing at the Ninth Circuit in the slew of election integrity-related cases filed after the 2020 presidential election. One of her most notable victories featured on Fox News involved overturning over $200,000 of contempt fines and sanctions leveled against a pastor in San Jose, California, for violating COVID-19 related orders. She was the only attorney to depose Santa Clara County Public Health Officer Sarah Cody, one of the leading architects of the COVID-19 lockdown orders. The deposition is cited by doctors and health professionals all across the country. Mariah grew up on a cattle ranch in Montana and attended Pepperdine School of Law while also representing Pepperdine University in D1 track and field and cross country, where she sets the school's indoor record of the 300-meter dash. Good for you. In her spare time, Mariah enjoys training for triathlons and spends time on her family ranch. She has qualified for the U.S. National Triathlon Championship 3 times. I have been working with Mariah off and on and trying to present to the board a comprehensive and... She hasn't logged in? She sent me a text that says she's logged in, she's here. Hold on a second. She's supposed to log in because she's coming from by video. Sorry about that. And to develop a comprehensive public display of historical documents that Dr. Frazier has talked about in the past. So I know this is controversial, but I wanted to bring it to the board to be fair, and then we can present the issues and you can vote on it. So next month, I would like to bring it up for a vote, and then this month, we will have it for discussion and presentation, if we can get her live. Should we take a 5-minute break? Okay, let's take a 5-minute break and I'll see if I can call her.
What time is that? That's Thanksgiving luncheon.
Hey, are you logged on? She said she's logged on.
Oh.
They said they can't find you on the, Steve, she said she's logged on. Could you hear us?
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
No, they didn't think you were logged on.
Taste it and see if it's good.
Oh, no, I haven't. I thought you were logged on because you told me that you were logged on, but I just got a message from our team that you're not logged on. Is she logged on, Steve?
Yeah, I did. I'm not gonna get in my suit.
Going out and going back.
Oh my God. And then the base is the 9th inning. And I'm like trying it. You better be praying to God. Dude. I was like, I haven't reached them in quite some time.
No, they look great.
Yours too? It's the lighting. Yeah, Saki, isn't it? The rookie, yeah, Saki. No, I did that one, and then he had the walk, and then Trident got the walk, and I was like,
Hear me?
Yes, all right, let's go
Yes.
back on the record.
Okay, thank you.
I just read your bio, so I don't know if you heard that or not, and,
That's okay. I mean, I know myself.
And I was explaining that we had been working off and on and trying to develop a comprehensive resolution with the historical documents that may be acceptable, and that you've been working on that. So go ahead and take over.
Yes. So, well, first of all, I just want to say thank you so much for allowing me to meet with you guys, and sorry about the technological difficulties. It's really just a great honor to be able to represent counties like Kern County, who is brave enough to, set really great precedent. And as Mary was talking, we've been working for the past 2 months to put together a resolution, which you guys all now have a copy of. And it is a resolution supporting an adoption of a historical documents display. With the 10 Commandments, you see there's a Declaration of Independence, the preamble, the Bill of Rights, the national motto. And the reason why we believe this is so important is because we're living in a time in this country where the powers that be don't want the public to be educated on our rights. And it's more important than ever that young children are aware of the foundation of our government and our Republican form of government, especially before they go to college where people are just spewing anti-America, anti-hate rhetoric. And it's important that, students are aware of the foundation of our government, so they're prepared to become productive citizens of society. And we also believe that the resolution that we've put together is litigation proof. And that is why we strongly support the adoption of this resolution as it is drafted. I work for a very successful, preeminent law firm, Liberty Counsel, and our boss, Matt Staver, has been in the fight for religious liberty, constitutional rights, and education for decades. And we've won several significant cases regarding the historical documents display in Kentucky as well as Giles County, Virginia. And the resolutions included the same documents that we have listed in this display: the Bill of Rights, the Star-Spangled Banner, the Pledge of Allegiance. In addition to that, not only is it litigation proof, it's been tested, we've won all of these cases that we brought forth supporting this type of resolution. It's also in accord with what California requires for history. As you guys see in the historical documents display for public schools, the state of California requires that students learn about the foundation of our Republican form of government, which includes Christian Judeo principles. So with that, it's again in accord with the state of California what it requires. It's litigation proof, and we are living in a time when, again, it's so important that students and young people are aware of the foundation of our government and our inalienable rights. So if you guys have any questions, if there's anything else you want me to go over in specific, I'm happy to answer any questions.
One of the concerns I had, Mariah, in even considering this proposal was the attorney engagement agreement. Can you explain that?
Yes, well, just so you guys are all clear, Liberty Counsel fully supports this case and fully supports the adoption of this resolution. We've been successful in the circuit court cases that we've brought defending this type of a resolution. We're very passionate about this, and I have been given authorization to agree to represent Kern County if an organization were to file a lawsuit. We are aware that if you guys adopt this resolution, you guys will likely face a lawsuit, and we believe that the current Supreme Court precedent as well as the Ninth Circuit precedent is in favor of this resolution, and we would agree to represent Kern County and the board free of charge if you guys are faced with any type of lawsuit.
Thank you. Do you want to go over the resolution of the whereas? Did you want to talk about any of those, Mariah? Do you want to read it?
Do you want me to read it word for word? I don't know if that's really necessary. I think, as Mary and I were discussing, we really spent a lot of time discussing and working on this resolution because we think it's important to make sure the public is aware, because obviously this will be public. The public is aware of the purpose of this resolution, and so all of these quotes were handpicked to reflect the intent behind this resolution, the intent behind the founding fathers and their beliefs and natural law theory, which forms the foundation of the documents that are included in this historical documents display. We've also included a note in there, in addition to the importance of each of these documents and the principles, the importance of education as well. You know, we rights are only as good as if our public is educated about those rights. The founding fathers emphasized the importance of education, so the public is aware of what rights they have. And so I think Kern County has the chance at this point to actually create history. I'm not aware of, right now, as you guys are aware, there's a lot of litigation across the country right now regarding Ten Commandments monuments. And I believe Kern County has the chance to make history in California with adopting this resolution. And I believe we will prevail, and it's going to help many other states as well.
And have you been successful in any other states in litigating this?
Sorry, what was that?
Have you been successful in any other states in litigating, or have you had to litigate this?
In regards to the Ten Commandments,
Correct.
As I said before, we have been successful in Kentucky as well as Giles County, Virginia, which Virginia is, you know, probably the same as far as California. But in addition to the Ten Commandments as well, I mean, Liberty Counsel has been successful on a lot of different cases. We've won cases at the Supreme Court on a lot of different issues involving the free exercise of religion, the defense of our constitutional rights. So I would say we have very good attorneys who are very educated on the law. I have, although I look young, I've actually argued several times at the Ninth Circuit and won. I've argued several times in the California Appeals Court, and I've won. And so our boss, Matt Staver, the founder, he's argued several times at the Supreme Court. He's argued in every single circuit court in the country. And I think the Kentucky cases that we won were almost 2 decades ago. So we are very versed in this area of law.
And can you explain that to the public, that it's not going to be in the schools per se, it's a document when they enter the schools? Is that your understanding?
Yes. And obviously, I mean, we don't think it makes a difference legally. I think the purpose of our role was putting together a resolution that reflected the documents that we thought were most important to the foundation of our government. And if you guys want the display outside versus inside, I mean, that's really a decision that you guys can make collectively.
But our purposes here are not to have it in the classroom to be a teaching tool.
That is my understanding, yes.
Okay. Does the board have any questions?
Yes.
Go get your mic down there.
Well, I'm not sure if I don't know that these are necessarily for her, but you did comment on the couple of cases that you were successful in. Where have you been unsuccessful in this type of matter? Have there been any cases that didn't go in your favor concerning this?
We did have a case that went to the Supreme Court, and this was before the lemon test was abolished a couple decades ago. And the Supreme Court ruled against us, not so much because the historical documents display they felt, or they concluded per se, was unconstitutional. It was because during the ceremony, there was like a religious ceremony that tainted the purpose of the historical documents display. Because shortly thereafter, the Supreme Court had ruled that a historical documents display in another case and in another context was constitutional. And that was because the court looked at the purpose, the circumstantial evidence around the placement of the display, and found that it was not for a religious purpose, it was for a secular purpose. There's many flaws with that decision because it was based again upon the convoluted lemon test that has now been abolished. The Supreme Court has instructed lower courts that when determining whether a display violates the Establishment Clause, they have to look at the historical founding of our government and our Constitution. And it's very clear that the Ten Commandments has been a part of our history. It's in the Supreme Court, it's in the Ninth Circuit, it's displayed in the Ninth Circuit, and there's very favorable case law. We have spent weeks, months researching the case law, looking at the recent developments in the law, and we are very confident that this resolution is litigation proof, because the purpose of this document, this display, is on its face in the resolution.
Okay.
Anything else?
I do have a question too. It's Gondario, is that how it's pronounced?
Gondaro.
Gondaro.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate you being here tonight. Aside from your activities, aside from the Liberty Council, what other legal agencies are now pursuing putting the Ten Commandments into public areas of public schools like you are right now? Are there any other law firms across the country that are also pursuing this challenging goal?
Yes, I think that this is a goal that a lot of us are passionate about. I believe the Beckett Fund was working with Louisiana, the state of Louisiana. As you guys are aware, there's several states that have been passing standalone resolutions regarding the adoption of the Ten Commandments in public schools. And I believe the Beckett Fund has been assisting with some of those efforts, as well as First Liberty. We are, even though we're part of different organizations, we're always collaborating with these other organizations because we are in the same fight together. And so we are following and tracking those cases, and if called upon, when necessary, when we have the bandwidth, we'll file amicus briefs to help them as well. I'm not sure, or I don't, at this point, a lot of these cases, these bills that have been passed are caught up in litigation in the state of Texas, Louisiana, but this is definitely an effort that we're working together on.
Okay, thank you.
I have a couple questions. Good evening, ma'am. What cases can you cite to in particular where you've stated that the results were successful in this being litigation-proof? Are there any particular cases that I could look up to read the court's opinion and the briefing that was filed in those cases?
Yes, I will. There's McCreary County versus American Civil Liberties Union of Kentucky. That was the Supreme Court case I was talking about, where Liberty Counsel worked on the case, and the Supreme Court found just because a pastor prayed during the display's dedication ceremony, it violated the Establishment Clause, but that was because the prayer ceremony tainted, the court found, the purpose of the display. But because then in a case shortly thereafter, Van Orden versus Perry, so Van Orden and then Perry, Perry, the Supreme Court held that a 6-foot granite display of the Ten Commandments on the Texas State House did not violate the Establishment Clause, because the court found in the context surrounding the display, it was for a secular purpose. Then we had ACLU versus Mercer County. This was a Sixth Circuit case. Then there was ACLU versus Grayson County, another Sixth Circuit Court of Appeal decision. These were cases that involved the historical documents display that the Liberty Counsel defended in the Kentucky courthouses. Then there is also Giles County, Virginia. I'm not, off the top of my head, I don't know the name of the case, but I could get that information for you, as well as the opinion. And then also what's actually probably most relevant, aside from the recent Supreme Court cases we've seen abolishing the Lemon test, is I've spent a lot of time researching the Ninth Circuit case law, and the Ninth Circuit case law is in favor of this resolution. There was a case involving the Ten Commandments display and the city of Everett in Washington. I believe the case is called CARD, C-A-R-D versus City of Everett. And a group challenged the display of the Ten Commandments, and the Ninth Circuit found the display was constitutional because it was in context with other historical displays in war memorials. And so again, the court looked at the context surrounding the display and the location of the display, it being with other memorials. And so that's why we support this adoption, is because the purpose of this resolution is not to enforce any set of religion. It's to provide, information on the documents, the history of our government.
And to be clear, of those cases you cited, how many of those was Liberty Counsel directly involved in the litigation?
So we were directly involved in 4, I want to say, and this is just in regards to the Ten Commandments. And so there was a Supreme Court case, and then there were the 2 Kentucky cases, and then we have a case in Virginia. But I would say, and if you guys, have the time to research this as well, there has not actually been a whole lot of development regarding the Ten Commandments since the Supreme Court abolished the Kennedy, or the Lemon test, sorry. As you guys are familiar with the Kennedy versus Bremerton High School case. It was after that case where states started to pass laws encouraging the display of the Ten Commandments. And so now we see a lot of these cases are being tied up in litigation. So the Ninth Circuit, for instance, I believe the Card versus City of Everett case was a couple decades old. So this is really something that a lot of organizations have been working on recently.
I have another question.
But I would also add too, there's a lot of cases we have been involved in involving the First Amendment that doesn't necessarily involve the Ten Commandments, but is still very much applicable. We had a case at the Supreme Court, Shurtleff versus the City of Boston. Our client was a Christian and wanted to raise a Christian-themed flag at the City of Everett, or sorry, at the City of Boston. And they denied him that, but it still allowed other secular flags to be flown. And the Supreme Court, in a 9-0 decision, a unanimous decision, found that the City of Boston violated our client's rights, that it wouldn't have violated the Establishment Clause. And that case was actually the catalyst for Kennedy versus Bremerton High School. So it was decided in the same year that the court overturned the Lemon Test.
Thank you, ma'am. I have further questions as to the actual implementation of these historical displays. What are we talking about? Are we talking about like large, billboards? Or are we talking about small documents? How have you seen this implemented?
Well, I am working with different individuals who have created different displays. This was something I talked to Mary about. There's an individual I know who's put together, a decent sized posters. I'm really bad about describing like how big something is. But I guess I would call them decent sized posters. That includes all the different documents in a row. I think there's like 3 on the top, 3 on the bottom. But I would say that, our job is not to say you must have a display that looks like this. That's really something you guys can decide. Our purpose as attorneys is to look at what's included in the display and determine whether it is litigation proof.
And in your experience, are these displays typically paid for by public tax dollars, or are they organizations that donate to these types of causes? Because I'm concerned about the use of public funds to create such a display. What is your experience in that regard?
I think it could be both, but what is your specific concern? I have seen, these displays privately funded as well as, funded by public resources. But is there a specific concern you have?
Well, I think it would be more prone to litigation if we're using public funds to create a display that is a display of the Ten Commandments. I see that there are 6 documents in this sample, which, in my opinion, probably makes it less prone to litigation, because we're actually placing the Ten Commandments in the context of other historical documents. So I see how that would make it less prone to litigation. But if we're to actually use public tax dollars to pay for it, and I think it's more prone to litigation, and there's a greater argument that we're using public funds to essentially promote religion. That's the concern that I'm getting at. But
Sure.
in your experience, can you speak to that? Has that been an issue?
So, again, I think even if a private organization were to fund this, it's still going to be tied up in litigation. And even if the other side were to bring an argument that, the Kern County is trying to enforce Christianity religion by requiring the public to have to pay for this display. Again, this is why we created the resolution as it is. The purpose is laid out on its face. And so I don't think that they're really, because the purpose of the display is apparent on its face, it's in context with other documents. It's in my opinion, it would be successful in litigation. And there are other states that require the Ten Commandments be, enforced with public money. And I think the thrust of the dispute is going to be what's actually included in the display, if that makes sense.
It does. I have one last question. I don't know if you're the correct person to answer it or if it's Dr. Mendenborough or our legal counsel. What authority do we have to compel all the public schools in Kern County to have this display? I'm looking at the second to the last paragraph that it says the school board adopts a display of the foundations of law and government to be displayed in every public and charter school that receives state funds in Kern County.
That would have to be modified to schools under the county board jurisdiction.
Okay.
It would only be
Yes.
the Alted community schools that would be affected by this resolution.
Okay. That was the last question I have. Thank you.
And I would agree with that as well. I think we hadn't included that in the original,
We did
or
talk
one of our
about it.
drafts. There's a state law that describes the authority of each school board
Each board,
in the state of California.
right.
Any other questions?
So I'm still trying to understand the difference between a resolution and a policy. So the resolution would be enforced in the schools that we have jurisdiction over, or is the resolution more of a statement as a board of what we believe should be posted? How does that translate? I don't know who I'm asking, but
I understand. Yes,
Okay,
it would
thank you.
have, it would actually have like legal effect,
Okay.
the signing of the resolution. I guess it's just a matter of semantics, but yes, it would be not just a statement, but an actual, legal force.
okay. Thank you for that. And has the public seen this resolution yet?
No, they have not had a chance.
So,
We would have to update it.
okay, for the next month when it comes back on the
Yeah, because.
agenda?
Right, and it would be a working document at this point as well, so, and then next month we would try to finalize it.
It seems like the biggest concern that I hear from the public is that I heard a few people saying that it would be pushing religion on our students. That's what I heard, but I don't believe that's what this is. This is literally historical document as part of our foundation of our country.
Right, but
as
you
a
have more
display.
questions for her right now for the attorney.
Oh, I'm sorry. No. Thank you. Just processing. Thank you for that.
And it's quite a process.
Yeah.
So any other questions for the attorney?
Well done.
Thank you, Mariah. I believe that we would need your presence again next month if you're available. It'll be Thursday night, the 13th, I believe, of November.
Okay, well, I just want to say again, thank you so much for taking the time to have me talk. Sorry for any inconvenience, and
No
we're really
problem.
excited about this. I
So-
think Kern County has an opportunity to make history.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mariah, can they get a hold of you if they have questions?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Mary, I give you permission to go ahead and send my email to everyone if they want to ask me questions, and if you want the case names, I'm happy to provide that as well.
I would,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll
Okay.
make sure we get that to all the trustees. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, we'll send the email out. One of the reasons I'm doing this is that when I was a child, like I had said previously, I saw the Ten Commandments in school, and it did pique my interest. And I thought, well, what is that? And I did some research on my own, and it got me into what they really are. They provide a moral foundation and an ethical framework for many religions. It's not just what you call Judaism and for Christianity. They do have a cultural influence. They have significantly shaped Western legal system and cultural norms. And many laws and societal values can trace their origins back to these principles. They do have a religious significance, and I understand everybody's concern. The community cohesion, they promote social order and community cohesion by encouraging respect, honesty, and responsibility among individuals, fostering a shared sense of values. Our court of law is based upon the Ten Commandments. It's the breaking of laws that our system was built upon, and it has the legal considerations of that. It has the constitutional issues, particularly concerning the separation of church and state, which there is no separation of church and state. It has educational value, and it can provide guidance and historical context, especially within the significance of Western and ethical traditions. It has cultural context, and in public schools, discussion about them might incur a context of history or comparative of other religions, and it has community opinions. Obviously, we have different community opinions here, and I respect and I'm listening to everybody's community opinions. So that's the reasons that we are bringing it to the school board again. To our trustee board again for consideration. This is a working document. We do have the attorney engagement agreement. We have the 6 different documents that are proposed. That's not saying that we have to have them, but these are the 6 different documents that are proposed. And the whereas on the resolutions is a little over 1-page document that I already know, according to Dr. Mendenborough here, we have to make some changes. So I would like to see that everybody, study this, bring it back. If we have changes, we can bring it back. Should we have a special board meeting before the other one, or can we just bring the changes back to our next board meeting? Okay.
The changes we're looking at is, instead of saying school board, county board, it's just those kind of changes.
Okay, so I know Dr. Mendenborough has a few changes that he'll change on that.
I have a question in regard to the attorney engagement agreement. This looks like the agreement that we reviewed prior to the amicus brief being filed. Doesn't look like it's the proper agreement for this.
Did I not get through the right one?
Looks like the previous agreement for the amicus brief.
All right, I will make sure to get the right agreement to you. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
I'll have it emailed. Any other questions or comments?
So next month, obviously, we would open this up for official discussion, but in preparation for that, I would like to focus on maybe what Joe was bringing up. How is this going to be considered? Is this one poster that's 24 by 36 with all 6 documents at the front entrance of every school, in, let's quote unquote, office? I think for certain if it's something that you're looking for action on, then we would want to have those things specified. I'd also like to make certain that I know in the resolution, we're identifying the schools that we oversee. I think just for public knowledge, it would be really great to have a list of those schools that we oversee. directly, including our special education services, our court and community schools. A lot of people can't name our schools by name. And so I would like to see that
That's a good
next
point.
month.
Yeah, that's
The
good.
Kelly Blanton Center, the,
CLC Tech, Central
yes,
School.
I would like to see a list of each school so that the public understands, should this go forward, that these are the schools that we oversee and our movement. And then those were just kind of the things that I feel are really important. I would also like to hear from our legal. Dr. Mendebro, please.
Bless you.
And I don't know if does that happen, that'll happen next month with them? Okay. And then, Mary, I'm not sure, or Madam President, I'm sorry, excuse me. Can you tell me other California school boards that have made this move? Do we have any in the
No,
state of
no,
California?
Like she said, we would be the first.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not afraid to be a leader, just have the question. Thank you.
And I do think that if we did adopt this, we can work out the specifics of if it was going to be paid for by X, Y, and Z in the size. So I think that would come.
I do know, because I've been following this pretty close in other states, I do know the money-wise, most of the time, it does not come out of boards' pockets. Usually there's an organization or some sort that will back the board and pay for all of them.
There would never be a cost to us to do this.
No, there's never a
No.
cost to the board.
No.
Or come out of our school funding. There's usually somebody that steps up and pays for that to be done. That way, there was never a litigation, however you say that word, get sued for saying that you're using state funding. So that way, all of them that I have followed, there has never been anybody that's had to come out of pocket on their boards in the other states to come up with the plaques. Usually, you know, so personally, I'm not worried about us coming up with any funding out of our board's money.
We would also need to approve, if we did this, that they would represent us pro bono. That would
Yes.
be part of the
yeah.
process.
So she said right there that if we get sued, that they're backing us 100%. So, and I do think it's kind of cool that we make history.
Oh, put
sorry. I'm real bad about that because I'm kind of loud, so I don't always think I need it.
No.
So I just think it's kind of cool that we're going to be, we make history.
Not to mention the fact that here in Kern County, it seems that some school boards follow our lead. Take Title IX, for example. Oh, what wonderful things could happen should we decide to go ahead and pass this resolution and other districts pick it up.
It'd be kind of cool.
Anything else further from the board? If not, then we will move on to item 3.2, presentation of CALM Master Plan update. And our Steve Sanders is going to be explaining this. I can't wait to hear what's going on.
Steve Rubino.
Hey everyone, so Steve Sanders, Chief of Staff, and I won't be offended if some of you have to leave because I know you're here for a certain agenda item, but I'd love to hear you stay as well. So I have the greatest job in the world. One of the best things is that I get to work with the folks at CALM, which is our local zoo. So this is about a 20-minute presentation. I'm going to do it in less than 10 because I know you have other agenda items, but do want to share about some of the great plans we have at CALM. And Meg Maitland, who is my partner in crime, she's the director of CALM. She was ill tonight, so she sends her regrets. I have a short video I'm going to start with, and then I'll tell you a little bit about our master plan.
CALM Zoo actually started in 1980 by the man named Mike Hopkins. He was a history teacher here in Bakersfield. And as the story goes, his 3-year-old son asked him, "Dad, why don't we have a zoo in Bakersfield?" Which his response was, "Let's build one." So over the course of 3 years, CALM was made. It was a huge community grassroots effort that came out and planted every single tree, every single exhibit that you see as part of the zoo has been brought here by volunteers. what California Focus does is really showcase how amazing the animals in our state are. We have our own big animals, right? So we've got the mountain lions and the bears and the bobcats and the foxes, and we've got such a beautiful ecosystem. And so being able to focus on why California is so important really showcases why we're here. It tells the story of what California can be and why it's important that we keep the ecosystem intact.
This zoo provides all of the wildlife that exists throughout the entire state, and you really get an appreciation for the different habitats and the different environments that exist here. A lot of the animals here can't be returned to the wild for whatever reason. They have physical impairments or they can't survive on their own. So they get kind of a second lease on life. They get to be ambassadors for their species, ambassadors for wildlife here throughout the state.
Our wildlife rehabilitation efforts really focus on those endangered species as well. And so what we do is we partner with an organization called the Endangered Species Recovery Program. We also work with oiled wildlife. So part of our wonderful wildlife care clinic is that it can be transformed into an oiled wildlife recovery center. So animals can actually come out to CALM, we'll treat them, work to get them released back out into the wild as well. Our veterinary team was working out of such a small building, and they were able to do amazing things. But with the benefits of support from the community and all of those pieces, we're actually able to do a lot more, which means we can bump up our animal care, we can make sure that our animals are going to live their longest happy lives out here at CALM, and then also the ones that can be released back out into the wild, we're able to do that as well. So all the funds and the community support that we get really help make sure that our mission is moving forward.
CALM is just an educational gem. Besides families getting to come out here and experience all of these animals, we also have the touch tank that all of those kids can experience the sea life that is on our California coast, but a lot of kids don't have the opportunity to go to the coast to actually get to see it in person. So for some of these kids, it's the first time they've gotten to see some of these animals. I just think it's such an incredible opportunity to be able to bring field trips out here, to have all of the camps out here, and those learning opportunities are so incredible for our students, because 100% every time beats learning about it from a book.
One of the things that we do prior to the kids coming out is host a day for teachers, where we are teaching teachers how to teach that STEM camp out here at CALM. And what we see when we do that is those teachers themselves get a huge appreciation, and then they're able to then transfer that knowledge onto their kids and the families that they serve.
I think there's a lot of potential for CALM to grow, and the board has recognized this and has engaged some zoo specializing architects to come up with a master plan for how CALM Zoo can grow in a way that is representative of what they stand for already, but also that takes advantage of the local geography, the amount of space that they have, the community, how they can use their expansion to serve the community. We want that bear to have a place to live that resembles where he lives out in the wild, so he can have a better life experience. And that's what the master plan tries to capture. And I encourage anybody, get on CALM Zoo's website, look up the master plan and see for yourself.
So we are very passionate about this amazing family resource. It's the #1 thing to do in Kern County. If you type in what to do in Kern County, CALM pops up. This is a picture of Mike Hopkins. He founded CALM. He was a history teacher at Foothill High back in the day. He now lives in Nicaragua, and he runs a turtle rescue. So quite a guy. He's pretty amazing. So CALM is our history. We were started in 1983. The superintendent of schools took over CALM in 1995, and to be honest, it was about to go under. They were really struggling, and our former superintendent at the time, Kelly Blanton, saw this as an opportunity to get kids out of the classroom, learning about the native plants and animals right in their own backyard. And it's amazing. I have a grant right now through the state parks that works to get kids from East Bakersfield out to CALM and Camp Okeechee and Panorama Preserve and other places. And so many of those kids, that live in East Bakersfield have never even been to Hart Park or seen the Kern River. So we're passionate about getting kids out there. That's the old DiGiorgio house, by the way, which is now our gift shop. CALM is California native animals only. All of our animals that are exhibited at CALM cannot be released to the wild. And so we give them an excellent home, and we use that to educate kids about California, again, native plants and animals. We are the largest wildlife rehabilitation center in the southern San Joaquin Valley. 2 or 3 years ago, we were able to build the wonderful wildlife care clinic and bring our veterinary services on site. And so we have a full-time vet and vet tech that provide amazing care to our animals. We are all about education, obviously being run by Kern County Superintendent of Schools. We have over 25,000 kids that come through CALM on school field trips, so that's growing every year. This year we had about 400 kids, many of them foster and homeless youth, that participated in the STEAM camps that I mentioned in the video there. And we also partner with other groups like Bank of America to provide their members with an opportunity to visit CALM. Everything we do is dependent on our volunteers, and so every month we have new volunteer training for our docents, our animal care team. Our train, which I think most of you have ridden, is all volunteer, and so it's just, again, a great way to give back to the community. And we also built 2 years ago the Willows, which is an event center kind of on the north side of CALM. We are doing weddings, corporate events. It's just a beautiful spot, and that gives us some additional revenue that we can use to support CALM's mission. Boo at the Zoos this week, so hope to see you out there. That's one of our busiest events. And then everybody's favorite, Holiday Lights. That'll happen again this year. This is our 24th year, believe it or not. Last year was our record year. We had almost 70,000 people that came through Holiday Lights. It's been named one of the top 10 light shows in the country by USA Today, and the LA Times named us as one of the top 10 light shows in the Western US. So we're very proud of that and really feel like that's a tradition that we've been able to give to families. When we decided to pursue a new master plan, we wanted to make sure that CALM is around another 40, 50, 100 years from now. And if you've been to our neighbors in the north, Fresno, you've seen that they have an amazing zoo there that's just beautiful, and we want the same for Kern County. And so we decided to take a look at, do we want to bring in giraffes and elephants and those types of animals? And we really decided that we want to be the best California native zoo around. And so it's really important, and that's true to our mission and our founder's vision, is to celebrate those animals that are native to California so that our kids know what was here, in history and in the future. I'm going to go through this very quickly, but we have, and this plan is on our website at calmzoo.org, so please check it out. But we have access to about 60 acres out there. The area that everybody knows as CALM now is about 14 acres, so we have quite a bit of room to expand. And our plans call for expansion to the west. So I don't know if this will show up, but that where it says event pavilion on the left there, just for reference, that's kind of towards the soccer parks from CALM. So the master plan will show you kind of our legacy campus, which is a picture here. We have phase 1 of our master plan will really focus on the entry plaza and the education hub, as well as an updated parking lot. If you've been to CALM, you know our parking lot needs some love. And so what we're excited about with this is currently rehab animals, our guests, all of our school tours come in through the same small entrance at the gift shop. So the master plan will call for dedicated entries for education and for rehab so that we can facilitate that. It'll also call for a restaurant cafe that'll be accessible to the public. We have a lot of public that go by CALM because the bike path runs through CALM, and we want to be able to attract those folks and give them some amenities out there. This is kind of a rendering of what that would look like from the entry plaza. A lot nicer than what we have now, which is great, but this is even better. We also are going to expand our rescue and operations hub so that we can house more animals. The whole goal of rehab is to treat injured animals, get them back into the wild. And so our rehab and operations hub will be expanded. That's kind of a rendering of what it looks like there against the mountains of CALM. Our legacy campus, again, is kind of the area that's been developed now. You can see the train on the right there. We have a lot of ideas for education hubs throughout the campus. And what I love about CALM is I have a picture of CALM from about 1980, and there was not one tree out there. It looked like Hang Glider Hill across the street. And now to see 40 years later, it really is an oasis for folks out there. And so it just shows that with some vision and some planning, you can create something incredible. Our west expansion, we want to bring wolves back to Kern County. Wolves were native to Kern County at one point, and so it calls for an expansion to our Wolf Ridge. We also want to bring in what's called flex habitats, and bring in grizzly bears. Grizzly bears were also native to California. And the great thing about flex habitats is that through tunnels and gates, you can control where the animals go. So one day you may visit CALM, and they may be over here. The next time you come, they're in a different area. And not only is that better for our guests, but it's better for our animals to foster their creativity and enrichment in terms of being able to move from habitat to habitat. We also have plans for flight aviaries. So if you've been to CALM kind of by the bears and you're looking north towards the river, there's a big hill. So it drops off down to that lower area. And we want to build walk-in flight aviaries so that, as an example, our California condors could have full flight in those aviaries going from the bottom of that hill up to the top. And imagine being able to walk through an aviary and see those birds. A lot of people don't know that CALM did have an aviary back when it first started. So the nature trail there was all covered in netting, and it was very neat to be able to see those animals. This is kind of a vision looking towards the soccer park. All the water will be recycled water, and so we won't be, drawing a lot of water use, and we won't be drawing water from the river. But this is also, a habitat that is accessible to the native wildlife that's around CALM. We have a lot of visitors that come and visit the animals. Animals come and visit other animals, so this will be a great habitat for that to happen. And then we have plans down the road. This is in the later phase for an event center at CALM where we could theoretically, or not theoretically, we will do concerts, other events out there kind of looking towards the soccer park. And those fields are what they call browse fields. So that's where we would grow a lot of the plants that our animals eat. The public would have an opportunity, for example, to go pick cuttings and feed them to some of our animals. And so that's a way to incorporate agriculture into our plan as well. And then we have the North Meadow habitat, which is our big hoof stock. We want to bring in tule elk and some of the other California native big animals that are native to this area as well. This whole plan will take somewhere, around 20 years to make happen. We are in the process right now of figuring out ways to support this. We're looking at models that Fresno and other zoos use, and so the board's actively engaged with how do we make this happen in 20 years, and how do we secure the donations and the funding necessary to do that. And so we believe we can make it happen, and my goal is to make sure that this community has an amazing resource that just continues to grow and that people are proud of, and that becomes a destination to bring folks to Kern County. So how you can help is visit our zoo. If you haven't been there in a long time, it's changed quite a bit. So please come. If you've only been during holiday lights, come back and visit us during the day. Become a member. Our memberships are on the website. Attend events. We have all kinds of events during the year. And just let people know about CALM. Be an ambassador and let them know what a great resource we have for our kids and families here in Kern County. Whew, thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys.
Any questions for Steve? Any questions? Comments?
Steve, I have one.
Yes.
So I know that we don't have the bird rehab right now. So is there another resource? Sorry, I save a lot of animals.
Yeah.
So I've saved birds. And I know that we've always done CALM, but we don't have our rehab right now. So is there anywhere else?
So we
for
just
that?
built some flight cages, which will help us reopen some of those services, Lori. And then we're working with some private rehabbers. It's just tough. There's the rehab market, if you will, is there's not a lot of rehabbers out there. So call us, and I'll get some information to you on some folks that we have. Cal State, as you recall, used to have FACT,
Right, they used to have them
which
too.
is no longer around, but I'll send you some resources that we have. You bet.
Didn't some local news stations or television stations used to have kind of an animal guest that showed up on there at one point in time?
Oh, yeah, we still are on the shows, so morning show, et cetera. So Ralph Bailey always hated snakes, so we would make sure we brought a snake every time we'd visit him.
They don't like him either.
Yeah. But yeah, we do go on the TV show as much. We're everywhere. As much as we can to promote CALM, we love doing that. So thank you, everyone. Appreciate
Well, we
it.
are so fortunate to have such a great place for people to go and to enjoy. It's absolutely phenomenal, and I thank you very much for giving us a great update.
Thank you.
Indeed.
Okay, we are now action items 4.1, general business, adoption of the GAN limitation resolution. Dr. Mendenborough?
We have Jonathan Medina here to present the GAN limit.
Hi, John.
Hi, good evening, Board. So the GAN resolution is just one of our statutory required resolutions that we bring every year. Really, there's no impact to school districts, but it's something that the state requires us to do. Back in 1979, Proposition 4 was passed. It's a very conservative legislature back then, and what they wanted to do was prevent state spending from getting out of hand. So what they do is have us really aggregate all of our spending. So cities, schools, county offices of education are all aggregating these funds. Then they go to the state level and they set what the spending parameters are to keep it from getting out of control. And so all we do, what this resolution does, is formally notifies the state of how many qualifying expenditures we had in the prior year and how many expenditures we're projecting for this next year. And that's all the resolution really is.
Thank you. Any questions?
No.
Concerns? Motion?
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So ordered. 4.12, accept and file the Williams Act Uniform Complaint Quarterly Report.
And there are no complaints at this time.
Motion?
Second. Motion and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So ordered. We are now on 5.1, report of county board members, and I will start this end since trustee.
You better get to Lori before she gets to
I
me.
know, that's right.
Because Lori always takes all my stuff.
So we'll start with trustee Mercano.
Well, I don't have a whole lot to say, but I'm glad we're able to be part of that amicus brief that was filed. I thought it was well-written. I hope the rest of you read it as well, but I'm happy to be a part of that.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for doing that.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. First of all, I'd like to congratulate Dr. Mendenborough for being inducted into Cal State's Hall of Fame. Well done, sir.
Oh.
Yeah, pretty cool. So,
Like almost a Nobel Prize.
yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I thought that was nice. I got to go to Central School's open house, kind of back to where my roots were at. Took my husband. I don't know if I'll do it again. So he ran into his staff member, and they left right off where they, didn't even, he was still there. So, yeah, they had a good time. But it was kind of nice to go back there where it all started. Hopefully I'll get to Bridges open house. I didn't make Crossroads. I was wanting to make Crossroads open house, but my brother got married last weekend, and we had brunch at my house on Sunday. So Bridges open house board is on Thursday night, if you guys want to make that one. I got the honor to speak at Cal State's Turning Point. So that was really nice. They are still in need of an advisor. So since Dr. Mendenborough was inducted into Cal State's Hall of Fame, maybe you might want to put a bird in someone's, nest out there. But they do need an advisor so they can have their meetings on campus. Right now, they can't do their meetings on campus.
Also excited for CALM's expansion. I am a big fan of CALM. I got to be at Kern High School District's board meeting when they put their resolution in for Title IX. God does not make mistakes. We're boys and girls. There's no such thing as transgender. That was not even a word when I was growing up. So God doesn't make mistakes. I do have a question. This was ran off. Sex on the school calendar. I don't know if we have this. I know, Dr. Mindeborough, you are with other superintendents. Is this something our schools do, or is this just LA County?
We don't discuss that or have that at any of our
Okay.
superintendents.
All right, so I was just kind of worried about that. So I was going to bring that to your attention. Today I was at a meeting, and at my table, I had a lady tell me she was picked up her grandson at Frontier High School. He was in a Spanish class. She speaks Spanish. She asked him how it was going, and he said he was very uncomfortable in the class because the teacher talks about his transgender son. He has flags that he's uncomfortable with in his classroom, and he talks about being gay. I told her that she needs to, if he's uncomfortable, have him talk to the principal and his counselor, and then maybe go to the Kern High School District's board meeting. I don't know, what else do you say to people like that?
You said it perfectly.
Okay, so also had one sitting at my table that her kindergarten teacher shouldn't be saying stuff like that. We didn't know what our teachers were, whether they were married, straight, what they were. They just taught us. And how are we going to California has one of the lowest educations in the nation. How are we going to be able to teach our children ABCs and 1, 2, 3s if we can't get this out of our school system? Can we just have our children go to school and be educated? This is what our board's trying to do. This is why we pass resolutions. This is what we're trying to do. Can we just get this out of our school systems? All this can be taught at home. If you want to teach this to your children at home, go ahead. But how can we raise the bar in education? How can we have our children learn to read and write? We are graduating children that can't even read at 12th grade level. We have a child that can't even learn Spanish, is not comfortable in his own classroom. That's not fair. I don't care what you believe. It's not fair. I had another lady said her kindergarten teacher asked her granddaughter if she wanted to be a boy. She said, "No, I'm a girl." Kindergarten. Can we just stop the insanity and let our children learn? Teach it at home. Just teach it at home if you want your kids to learn this insanity. I don't care. But we want our kids, we want to raise our bar. I know Trustee Julie talks about it all the time. Can we just teach our children? Raise the bar. It was just kind of a sad day for me today to have to sit at a table and hear that. That's all I have to say.
Trustee Beechner-House? Did I say that right?
Yeah, sounds like house, but with a T.
I don't think I said that yet.
So let's see, last week, Bakersfield College hosted the Career Ag Expo and Manufacturing Day. That is a huge day in which we bring a lot of students from the high school district to campus to kind of see what the opportunities are in the manufacturing and agriculture area. So we have a lot of career vendors that come and share information on career technical education programs and things that they offer outside of graduation. And so that was exciting. Lots of students on campus for that. And then, of course, this is my last push for Bakersfield College Rodeo, November 8th and 9th. This is my calm, okay? When you were doing your speech, I was looking at this and I was like, oh, one day we will have built Bakersfield College Rodeo to be what calm is. So this has just been a really, really great experience. We have only been doing this 3 years. I'm feeling very backed by the community, and the students are too. We have athletes that are coming to us from all over the state to do rodeo and out of state, and it's just really, really exciting. So I hope that we have put together a family fun activity. We always say in Bakersfield there just isn't enough to do. This is a nice opportunity to get your family out. You don't necessarily have to come for the evening. We offer free admission daily starting at 9 a.m. And so there's lots of things happening, lots of vendors, and a lot of community support. So again, just one last push, November 8th and 9th for that. So thank you.
And the prices to get in are pretty reasonable.
Yeah,
they're not bad
really
at all.
good.
I do also want to commend the board on the resolution of Title IX. That was nice to see that Kern High School District did pick up that same resolution. So thank you for presenting that. And I will go back and push that we need to remind ourselves that we've got to work on the education plan for these kids, the graduation plan, reading and math. You know, my daughter cannot use an analog clock, and she can't count change. Poor little thing. And so let's get back to the basics, right?
Yes, I agree.
Trustee Gonzalez?
The only observation that I have is 2 of our school districts from my area have parted ways with their superintendents. One of them has an interim, and the other one just happened last Tuesday.
Oh, really?
Had they come to the county to search for a superintendent?
Yeah, so Vineland School District, they have an interim superintendent from our office that they hired and appointed as their interim superintendent until they, in our office, will be helping Vineland hire a new superintendent. And then Lamont School District, their superintendent resigned. Friday was her last day. And they are in the works of appointing an interim. I think they'll do that at their next board meeting. And then they're looking at who they're going to utilize for their hiring firm. We've done it in the past. I'm not sure if they're going to select. They've been talking to us, but they haven't made that decision yet.
It seems like Lamont was in the news a couple of years ago about a superintendent. Was that true, or is that the same superintendent that's been there for a while?
A few years ago, they had a different superintendent who moved up north, and then the current superintendent who just resigned came in about 3 years ago.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Anything else? Trustee Cisneros?
I just want to piggyback what Trustee Marcano and Trustee Taus-Beechner mentioned about the Title IX. Because I remember when we were talking about Title IX, we had several people say that the resolution won't really matter and that it didn't really make a difference. And I just want to reiterate that it did make a difference, and we are leading the way in Kern County. And it is exciting that the Kern High School District followed suit with that, and I'm excited to see other districts come on board with that as well. So I wanted to make sure to point that out. If you think the resolution is not important, it is. And I attended a couple of training Zooms with the Association of California County Boards of Education. So that's been good. The ACCBE, which was a newly formed organization that I was nominated to be a part of and bring feedback for you. So I'm just in the training phase. They offer several trainings throughout the month, each month. They just formed their association about 2 months ago, so it's brand new. Anyway, I did learn about effective governance practices for Kern County, or for county boards of education, and a deeper dive into the court and community schools. So it's good for me because I really do want to understand the workings of our board and our influence that we have on our students and the different schools that we oversee. So I will keep you informed in that. So I'm enjoying that. Let's see, and, oh, we are going to have another Thanksgiving luncheon coming up in November. Can I announce the date? Just November 19th is the date for the Blanton school campus with their students and staff and parents and admin and board. So hopefully board members, you're able to attend at 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock on November 19th. It's not open to the public, but it is open to the board and staff and
we will be
students
serving.
and parents. Yes, it's a great time. Mary and I were able to do that last year, and it was really special to slow down and think about. We encourage the students to think about what they're thankful for and families, and a lot of times, or a lot of students, that was their first time actually having a Thanksgiving, a traditional Thanksgiving meal. And the staff at KCSOS just was top notch. I mean, that lunch was, I would say, perfect. I mean, it had all the sides and everything. The plate was full. and then the pumpkin pie with the whipped cream. So it was definitely worth making sure these students know that they are loved and that we see them and that they're important to us. I think that's huge.
Thanks, whipped cream.
And whipped cream adds to that,
Yes,
yes.
it
That's the whipped cream icing on the cake, right?
No, it's whipped cream.
And just to add to that, we are, the board, if we show up, we could, we have a role in serving food and greeting them, so I don't want you to just think that you're just going to show up.
Yeah, thank you for that. We do a little icebreaker game and interact with them, and so it's just a neat time to put a face to who we serve and, you know, and let them know that we're not scary people. We can be fun and loving and approachable, and I think all that's important. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Jim, you're up next.
Oh, thank you. I would like to point out a couple of things, some misstatements that have been made. Number one, from the very, very beginning, Angela Frazier was asking for the posting of the 10 Commandments and other historical documents in common areas of any school. I don't believe he ever asked for them to be in the classroom. I wanted to make sure that that was cleared up. And secondly, and this is just kind of a pet peeve of mine, but if you're going to use the Establishment Clause of our Constitution in an argument, you should go ahead and research it and make sure that you're stating things right, because nowhere is it conceivable that posting the 10 Commandments in a public area of any school would violate the Establishment Clause. So read the Establishment Clause carefully. All right, if that were the case, then I could sit there and say that AB 727 also violates the freedom of religion. I could say that it also, too, violates the Establishment Clause, because you're trying to establish something. I mean, you can go ahead and talk Marxism all you want under AB 727, okay, but you can't talk about the tenets of Christianity that undergird our government. I just wanted to go and bring that. It's been kind of a little pet peeve of mine for a while. And to piggyback on what Ms. Taus was saying with regards to getting back to reading and writing, and what Trustee Eskew was saying about reading and writing, I've got the good fortune of being able to attend a general meeting of Leaders in Life coming up this Friday, which is really nice. Then what spurred this on aside from my association with the group starting earlier this year rather, is that I read an article, and I would suggest anybody take a look at it, by Brick McDill that was in Community Voices in the Bakersfield, California on the 16th. And what I'm proposing, and what apparently some folks here in the Kern County Superintendent of Schools are in agreement with, is that we are going to start getting high school students affiliated with an organization known as the Kegley Institute of Ethics, which is a fellowship program on the Cal State University Bakersfield campus. And it says, taking a local lead on desperately needed program on civil debate and disagreement. Now, I thought that this article was rather timely, given some of the events of just a little bit over a month ago, leading to the assassination of Charlie Kirk. I don't want to beat that one to death. I've heard a lot about it, and I hope that we all heal from that soon. But I do believe that this is a very, very good time to start encouraging high school students to get used to the idea of going out and presenting themselves in public, presenting themselves in front of groups, learning to speak, all right? Because they're not going to be, if they learn to speak, then it's almost a given that they have learned to read and to write, especially if they're writing their own speeches that they're giving. They're putting conscious thought into this. And I'm sure that all the members of the board here would agree with me that these skills, these communication skills of listening, speaking, reading, and writing, they were fundamental. They were expected. They truly were. And the people that could not read, write, or speak, or listen, okay, were exceptions to the rule. Nowadays, this does not seem to be the exception to the rule. And given the fact that that there's been an awakening, more or less, a lot of people are very, very conscious. And they're sore, too. Their nerves are exposed. Something horrible happened. It truly did. And the fact that an organization like the Kegley Institute of Ethics has been operating since 1983 on the campus of Cal State University Bakersfield, I think it's about time that we went on ahead and forged a relationship with other community organizations and got out there. We need to start speaking up. This is all part of what we do here as a board. We engage in discussions. We entertain discussions. We listen to different points of view. That doesn't necessarily mean that we have to go ahead and agree with those differing point of views, but we do listen. We do have things to say. And when we do disagree, for the most part, I think that we have all been able to object to something without being objectionable. We've been able to disagree without being disagreeable. So, and I mean, in my estimation, and again, this is a personal thing, in my estimation, when we're talking about, the 10 Commandments being posted along with other documents in the public area of the school, I mean, what is everybody so worried about as far as the 10 Commandments? That this pesky God and Jesus fellow is going to show up. We can't have that. We can have the Trevor Project. That's perfectly fine. We can have AB 495. That's perfectly fine. Everybody's okay with that. Nobody's speaking about that except for folks like us. But I can assure you that we're going to continue to go ahead and speak up, and I'm going to encourage a lot of younger people that we get in touch with to speak up. And I'm not talking about speaking like me. I'm not talking about supporting my points of view or anything else. I'm talking about learning to go on ahead and engage in meaningful and, if possible, eloquent debate about some very, very important issues, like the ones that we have here, which is why people show up to go ahead and talk about it. So that's my 2 cents here. I had a pretty good week for the most part, but I'm really looking forward to having an even better week so far on Friday. I'm really looking forward to this. There were like 4,000 students showed up at the convention that was held last April over here at the Mechanics Bank Arena. It was fabulous. See all these kids out. Yeah, a lot of them are kind of going, all right, we're out of class. Yeah, but a lot of them were there to go on ahead and start working on some of their communication chops. And I think that is encouraging. And I would ask any of you to go ahead and encourage that. Start a discussion. Get some debates going with anybody that you possibly can, but do it in the spirit of just that debate. Not bomb throwing. I'm talking about just communicating with people here. The byword that McDill put on here at the beginning, it says, true civility is not the absence of disagreement, but the presence of respect while it unfolds. I'd like to think that we encourage that sort of an atmosphere here. And, okay, I've talked enough. Thank you.
Thank you, trustee. And our student representative, Warner, do you have any comments?
I do think all history should be taught. I don't feel the absolute need for the 10 Commandments to be posted in public areas of school, but I also love what COM is doing. Very fun. I love COM. Have a nice time.
Thank you. Thank you. You did good. What? You couldn't hear it?
I'm generally better at public speaking if I have something memorized.
We don't want your excuses.
She was
You
just
did just
reiterating
fine.
that she loved the CALM, and she didn't know about the 10 Commandments being posted, but she understands. Did I get that correct? Okay. I was going to talk about AB 727 with the Trevor Project, but we already had somebody in our audience do that. And the veto of the SB, was it 714, the charter school bill? They do believe that the CTA will bring back AB 84 in the future, so we have to be prepared about that. AB 495 did pass at the last hour. Newsom signed that at the last hour. It's a nightmare bill, and it allows an adult with a 5th degree of relation to use a one-page form to claim guardianship of any child they want to. And they can sign that child out of school, and that would allow that person to take control of that child. Now, say if a person came to your front door and says, I want to take your child, would you allow that? No. But they expect us to say that it's okay in the schools to allow that. And it shouldn't be allowed. There's no parental signature required, there's no vetting, there's no fingerprints, there's no background check, there's no nothing on file or overview to later to check to see if that child is safe. It is a kidnapper's child trafficking form of getting in there and doing that to some of our children. We have to be very careful if we allow this in our schools, despite what our governor said. I do have a relative who has 2 minor children, one in elementary, one in junior high. And when I explained this bill to her, she said, well, I don't have to worry about it. I have a court order. I said, no. The court order is null and void. She said, I can't understand that. She was arguing with me. And I said, no, it's null and void. She said, how could that be? I have a court order. And so the general public doesn't understand the significance of this. And it's scary as all get out. And I do believe that we're going to face consequences. I've heard there's lawsuits already coming up and things that are going to be happening. So that's something to be stay tuned about. And Proposition 50 is coming up. It is a proposition to redistrict our boundaries in regards to our legislators. And that will affect us quite a bit if that's passed. And it'll affect our economy, it'll affect everything that we do. So, look into that and see how you want to vote, but make sure you vote. Just make sure you vote on that. There is a handout at your place for that too. There are 17 districts now in California that have did the Title IX resolution. So that is still catching on and going. So I expect that there will be probably some lawsuits and things going on with that as well. And I don't have anything further.
Mary,
Dr. Mendenhall?
we do have transgender at Ridgeview High School playing volleyball now. So it's on the Frost Shop team.
So BCHS has forfeited their volleyball team. So that's like approximately 30 girls that didn't get to play volleyball. So it is affecting high school sports, you know, that kids don't get to play. You know, a lot of people don't understand that men are built different than women. I don't care, you know, their chemistry's different, their everything's different. I have family members that play volleyball. They also play on a club team. There is transgender on some clubs, but if they take any type of hormone that is considered to play on a club team, they don't get to play on a club team if they're taking any type of hormone to transgender because it's considered, you know, taking some kind of, you know, taking a drug that alters your makeup, whether it be male or female, no matter what it is.
Performance enhancement.
Right, considered.
Well, there was a female that was severely injured in one of the schools down south.
Right, so.
Playing volleyball.
Right, and there's also been I don't remember where it's at, but there was a girl that went into a boys' locker room, and the boys were uncomfortable with it, and the boys got in trouble for it, and not the girl. So it's not just the boys coming in and playing on girls' sports. We've got, you know, it's back and forth. You know, you've got the girls going into boys' locker rooms and the boys getting in trouble instead of the girls. So it's kind of backwards there too. And but we do have transgender playing volleyball at Ridgeview High. So.
Thank you, Dr. Mendenborough.
A couple of items briefly to update you on. Valley Oaks Charter School is celebrating their 25th anniversary this year. They've been open for 25 years and doing a great job and grew from 150 students to over 1,000 students. So congratulations to Valley Oaks. Valley Oaks Charter up in Tehachapi was named Best School of the Year. So they were awarded that. Also wanted to update you that the Kern County Superintendent of Schools partnered with Mayor Go in regards to a kindness initiative. So we are launching that with our area high schools. So we will be taking nominations for high school students who exhibit kindness. And then once they are selected, then they will go through a kindness program that we have with Character Strong that is throughout the different schools here in Kern and beyond to really hone in on the kindness element and what is missing with some youth in today's world. Also, we have test scores have been released to all the school districts. That has become public now. We have seen an uptick in success with our students as far as meeting or exceeding standards. We will be presenting to the board next month the county test scores as an overall county and honing in on the areas that we're going to be focused on in areas of ELA and math and science. Also wanted to update the board in regards to October 20th is the KCSBA School Board Dinner that will be hosted by the McFarland Unified School District out at McFarland. We're very excited and looking forward to that. It is going to be a complete pomp and circumstance, student-focused. I don't think you can leave there without thinking of students after that night. They have a huge program planned. And then the spring KCSBA dinner will be at CTEC in the Kern High School District to celebrate those students as well. That'd be very nice. The last item I wanted to update you on was you had approved a resolution to provide funding to the Semi-Tropic School District. They have yet to this date needed any of those dollars. They are working very close hand in hand with Jonathan Medina and his team and are making the adjustments that they need at this point in time. And so as of right now, we have not had to give them any of the money that you had approved. So we're hoping they continue on that path. We'll just see. They are dealing with some decrease in enrollment and different things that are kind of out of their hands at this point. So, but they are doing a good job. Wanted to update you in regards to that. Other than that, we have the Thanksgiving coming up, and everyone have a wonderful as we get into the holiday season. 'Tis the season. Lori?
Oh, dear.
Our next meeting will be on Thursday. Our next meeting is on a Thursday because Tuesday is a holiday. So it'll be Thursday, November 13th at 6:30. We are now adjourned.